Hello friends, welcome to my channel Self Betterfly. I am Porshia, your counseling psychologist, and today we will talk about NCERT's Class 11 Psychology, Chapter 1, What is Psychology? So let's take a look. So first question that emerges when we start this chapter, it is that why study psychology? Now in a class, when teacher asks students that why do you want to study psychology, there are numerous type of responses. Some students say that it is because we want to know what others are thinking, or we would know that what others are thinking. Now this is a very false belief, because study of psychology doesn't ensure that you would understand what the other person is thinking. So why do we study psychology? So we study psychology primarily to know oneself, to know ourselves and to know others, because there are certain things we want to understand about ourselves. Why we do certain things, why we behave in a certain fashion, why we think like in a particular style. So we want to know about ourselves, we want to know about others also. That's why we switch to study of psychology. Apart from that, another thing is we may be intrigued by some phenomena like dreaming, and some students may answer or may say that we want to know why people dream. So what is behind dreaming? Why do we have dreams? So this is also something very fascinating and interesting which comes under the study of psychology. Next is which is being covered in your book also, that why people go out of their way to help others. So that is altruistic activities, why they are or why they beat each other up. Now they have given this example of 9/11 incident also, that why that happened in the first place, and what were the thoughts, or what was the psychology of the people behind that. So why terrorism? So these type of phenomena are also being studied under psychology. Now in short, if we sum up in a layman's language, then psychology is something which is being studied, or which is a discipline wherein we try to understand, or we study that how people behave, why people behave in certain fashion, and also sometimes there is a micro level phenomena which is being studied, or which we are intrigued with, and that is consciousness. So overall we see that these are the reasons why it fascinates us, and it makes us more interested in studying psychology. Now in this slide we see that what is psychology. Now it is very difficult to define psychology, or any discipline for that matter, because it is not something which has happened in a day or in a year. It takes time to evolve. It takes time to evolve as a discipline, or as a field of study. And so many phases are there, which we will be definitely looking forward to in this whole chapter. But if you go by the literal meaning, the word psychology, it comes from two words, psyche and logos. Now psyche means soul, and logos means science or study of the subject. And psychology has now established itself as a scientific discipline. So it has traveled from being called just the study of, or science of soul, to something which is a scientific discipline now. Of course, when we call something as a scientific discipline, we mean to say that we have established certain facts about it, and we have verified them, and they are objective. That's why we call it as a science. And we will further delve into the details of this subject, or psychology as a science, in coming few parts, because this is a long chapter. I have divided it into parts. And next is, it deals with processes underlying human experience and behavior. Now this is very interesting, because as we have discussed in the previous slide also, that we are intrigued by what happens and why it happens, and we study that. And that study of the behavior and that study of the experience is something which makes the whole concept or whole thing as a psychology. Now in this study also, it ranges a wide phenomena. It is a range of phenomena from at several levels, from individual to organizational or dyadic. Now dyadic means group of two. So one person, what they think, what they do, their behavior. Likewise, two people, or it be on a bigger level, at an organizational level also, we study their mental processes. So next thing which comes to understand the psychology is that it has biological and social basis. Now when we say biological and social basis, it means that we are reading them or studying them, those processes, in context with the biology of a human being and its interaction with the environment, which is again a social base. So we will be discussing these two also in detail in the upcoming parts. Now next is definition. Now when we talk about what is psychology, definition is the prime thing which comes, and definition is very crisp here and very clean they have put, and they are saying that psychology is defined formally as a science which studies mental processes, experiences and behavior in different contexts. Now in different context means the context may vary time to time, and in different context, in varied context, we will be studying primarily three things. Now those three things are mental processes, experiences and behavior. So let's take a deep look at these three one by one. So let's take a look at mental processes. Mental processes are also referred to as states of consciousness or awareness. Now, what do we mean by that? When we say some experience is internal to the person who is experiencing it, means if I am in an experience, I am experiencing something, that means something which is going inside here in my mind. And that is my consciousness, state of my consciousness. How I feeling, or what is the level of my awareness. Now this is very interesting because we often confuse it or often equate it with the neural activities going on in our mind. And no wonder that neural activities are responsible for measuring of or defining of mental processes, because without them also we can't establish this fact that mental processes are going on. So thinking, solving a problem, remembering or knowing something, all these come under mental processes, and they are reflected in brain activity. As I have already told you that brain activity or neural impulses or neural activities, now this is something which is telling us that some kind of mental process is going on. But mental processes and brain activities are not identical. They cannot be equated. We can't say that mental activity is equal to brain activity, because mental processes are these are two interdependent phenomena. To understand brain activity, we need to have mental process, and to understand mental process, we need to have brain activity. So as we can see here that mental activities and neural activities are overlapping processes but not identical. Why they are overlapping is because we need to understand them with the help of the other. Now if mental activity or mental process has to be studied, so we do real-time test and we do real-time study of the brain activity, and through brain activity we come to know that what kind of mental process is going on in a person's brain. But these two are different, because brain is an organ, brain is a structure, brain is something which is tangible, but mind is not. Mind evolves, concepts evolves, we keep on thinking, we gain experience, and on base of that it gets consolidated and it takes a shape. So mind is something which grows with time and brain is an organ. So these two are studied with respect to each other. Mental processes like remembering, Learning, knowing, perceiving, feeling are of interest to psychologists, and they come under cognitive psychology. Next is experiences. Now, when we talk about experience, when we are talking about experience, we have to always remember one particular thing which from which experiences will start, and that is they are subjective in nature. This is the first and foremost thing which we should understand, that they are subjective in nature. What I am experiencing will always be different from what you are experiencing, even if it is the same context, even if it is the same situation. We will always differ with our experiences, because they are embedded in our consciousness. As we have already discussed, that consciousness or state of consciousness means mental processes, and now mental processes, again the experience part comes. Now experience is something which is very subjective to me, depending on how I interpret or how I give meaning to that particular situation. This will always differ. And psychologists have primarily focused on these particular things as an experiential studies, or a study of experience, that is experiences of pain of the terminally ill, psychological pain felt in bereavement, experiences leading to positive feelings, esoteric experiences like that of yogis. Now this is very interesting, and they have tried to capture all kinds of experiences here, starting from the pain which is physical pain here. Now physical pain of the terminally ill means they know that they are going to die, and they are in very undesirable situation or place, and the physical torment or physical pain is there. So their experience, how they deal with it and what they are feeling. And second is the psychological pain. Psychological pain we feel when we lose someone, when we lose a loved one, the pain of bereavement. And also the positive feelings, like when you are romantic with someone, when you are in love with someone. So at that time, what is it that strikes, or what is it that on emotional level you are going through or feeling? So what kind of feeling is that? And esoteric experiences of the yogis, when you are in meditative state, what is your brain wave, and how your whole physiology reflects or behaves, or let's say how it actually concludes that you have reached that level of consciousness where you are thoughtless. So what happens? So these type of questions have always been intriguing, and psychologists have keen interest in studying these type of phenomena. And you will always find that these experiences are quite subjective and private and different from one person to another person. Another thing is that experiences are influenced by external or internal conditions of experiencer. Now when we say internal or external experiences, or internal or external conditions of an experiencer, means that if I am going in a crowded bus in a very sultry hot day, but I am going with my friends and on a picnic, how am I going to feel or experience? My experience will differ. And on the other hand, if the same situation is there and I am traveling with my parents to a relative's home, or when I am traveling to work in such kind of situation, so what kind of experience I will be having? So this is called the internal factors or the internal conditions of experiencer, and the external also is responsible. So they both interact, they both influence the experience of the person. So this was the example which was given in your textbook only. And next which comes part, that is behavior, because as we have already discussed, that psychology is study of mental processes, experiences, and behaviors in several contexts, in different contexts. So let's take a look at behaviors. Behaviors are responses or reactions we make or activities we engage in. Now, if we have to define what behavior is any activity, it is any action or response which you indulge in. And behavior can be complex or simple. Now, simple behavior is you throw something at me and my reflex will be there. It will be activated. If I touch something hot, my hand will back off. So that is a reflex section which is very simple. Now, it can be complex also. Sometimes you have seen some people behaving in a fashion which is incomprehensible. So that is the complex behavior which is difficult to understand. We have to sometimes see the other factors responsible. And it can be short or enduring. Now, short is short in the time period, short in the in context of time we are saying here, and enduring is for the long term. Now, if somebody loses somebody, very near and dear one, or a parent, so some enduring pattern of behavior may be there. They may be withdrawn, they may be sad, or they may not indulge in anything. So that may be enduring. So it may happen. And next is overt behaviors and covert behaviors. These two type of behaviors we see. We generally divide behaviors in these two parts, overt and covert. Now, what is overt behavior? Overt behavior can be outwardly seen or sensed. Now, when I am picking up something, when I am talking to you, and when I am making this video, this is overt behavior. You can see my expressions, you can see how I am talking, what I am doing. And when I say in covert behavior, now covert is internal. When I might be feeling little hot right now, or I might be feeling that I am thirsty, or I want to have something. So that is internal behavior. When we say, that is what is going on in my mind, what is going on at my feeling level, or what is triggering me. So there must be some kind of stimulus which is internal and is forcing me to do something. That is internal behavior. And when we say that something which is making me do something on the outside, apparent, or which can be seen or sensed, that is overt behavior, or let's say outward behavior or external behavior. Now, all behaviors are associated with or triggered by some stimulus in the environment or changes that happen internally. This I have already tried to explain, that how something which is going on inside me, something which is I am thinking about something, I am feeling about something, and in resultant to that factor, I behave in a certain fashion. So I would say that internal stimulus was there in shape of that thought or that feeling, and then it took shape of that action or behavior in that fashion. Likewise, we see that it can be external also. Something external is there which made me do something in particular way. Like, for example, if this room is sultry and some kind of heat is there because it's too sunny outside, then I will switch on the fan or I will switch on the AC. Now, outward also stimulus may trigger into some response, and some internal stimulus may also trigger into some kind of response. So that's how we behave. Now, that's what psychology is all about. They study behavior also, that why a person do something or why not a person, why sometimes a person does not do anything. So this is also part of the study. So this was all about today's lecture or today's video. And since the chapter is very long and I have divided into 6 parts, so this was the first part today. Hope to see you in second part, and I hope it was useful and interesting to you. Let's see you in another part. Till then, goodbye.